Alrighty, next matchup here in today's qualifier in the bottom right corner. Our red Zerg player. This is going to be Dark. And the double left, recently returning from military service. A blue Terran INnoVation. One man that's just returned, one man that is soon to go. A short crossover, a few months here, where they will both be able to participate in some similar events and play against each other. Then Dark will be off and away. As mentioned to the military himself, we know that that's seemingly just a matter of time for him, and he seems to be grasping this last little while by the horns and just saying, I'm going to play in everything. He's going to play in every little cup, he's going to play in every tournament he can, it seems. He's going to make as much cash as possible and be happy with that as he sets off, and then will return, of course. Hoping for Stormgate, I think, is what was mentioned by Dark in an interview or so. It's saying that all the Koreans in Katowice are like, see you in Stormgate when they left. See. Obviously, for now, though, we get to enjoy these two going at it as... Man, I mean, Dark INnoVation. When was the last time we watched Dark INnoVation? It seems to be such a sick matchup as well, because I've always felt like INnoVation was the kind of player that could always take on Dark. It was always very fun. They last played in 2021. Man, these two had such a cool history against each other. Dark, 85-78 in map, so it's always very close. He did win 31-24 series over INnoVation. But obviously, every time it was just very, very close, and it really was the sort of series that could just go any which way a lot of the time, so... Yeah, very, very cool. Get to see these guys play a few more times, perhaps, before, like I say, Dark heads off to military. I think we'll see what INnoVation can come up with. He played against Rata the other day. I'll be interested to see Dark playing here on the... sorry, not Dark, but INnoVation playing on the Korean server against Dark, because... It did feel like a couple of things against Rata, maybe just not quite being used to the latency of playing on North America again, etc. But there were just moments where it was like, his multitasking fell apart, or he's a little bit slow to get back to a drop or so. Those kind of things. So, just little things. I mean, we'll see what he can do. I mean, Dark's an absolute beast and will absolutely come into this as a massive favorite, of course. So that's going to be something we watch out for. As this Reaper turns around, heading back up through the center of the map. Reactor finishing up on the barracks, the starport building in the main base. And Mule going to be disappearing here as a couple of Hellions will be on the way. A Reaper down to the bottom side of the map is going to hop up into the main base as well. It's going to be seeing this Queen of Dark coming over to the edges as our Reaper moves around the edges. And just trying to sneak in a drone or so. Obviously, it's always good to re-scout Dark's main base because you never know when the man's going to drop the roach drone. So, getting a heads up on that sort of possibility is a very good idea. Don't mind INnoVation kind of just getting straight in there and just looking for some information as soon as possible. Absolutely fine. And there is the roach drone. As the Reaper leaves, now the roach drone goes down. Well, INnoVation, you really scouted everything and suggested it wouldn't be roaches. I mean, he's going to go cloaked banshees anyway, so INnoVation is making pretty good life choices for his chances against Dark in this game. Banshee will provide a good chance to, create a defense at first as full work is going down here. Link speed is delayed, and very late link speed allows these two Hellions to dive in quite nicely. I mean, 4 drones is equal when it comes to trade outs. I think it's fine here. I think it's the sort of thing which actually is okay for INnoVation. Equal drone to Hellion mineral cost, 4 drones just cost a bit, and you force some lost mining time. Yeah, a little bit of a scare factor too. I don't mind it, obviously. Nice to get more Hellions on the map. It's good that it wasn't all of his Hellions, because now he still has the potential to scout the first few roaches. Although I'm not sure how much he necessarily needs that, as he already kind of knows that this is... Well, not that he knows, but he's already building a Banshee, so he's already doing what he would against roaches, although positioning of that Banshee could be important as we come in. Just another drone from the edges. INnoVation able to take that down. Hellions back around the left, just going to be seen. Banshee going to go and make a pull away over to the right side. It's going to fly through an Overlord, so it reveals itself. Obviously, this wasn't a ton of roaches in the end from Dark. He only built... Well, actually, he did build 7. Sorry, I thought he built 3. I apparently missed the other 4 at some point in time. So roaches come back over to the right side. Again, Lair is on the way up here from Dark. Just going to be seeing those roaches. Do you manage to slip up the right? So potential to do quite a lot, because it's the sort of timing where if the Banshee's not going to be back at home to defend, well, there's not really going to be anything back at home to defend. Ah, the Hellions find the Roaches, though. That's actually really nice, because now the Banshees can choose what they want to do here. Spores are up, main base. Actually doesn't really have any queens on it, so these drones on the edges are absolutely, you know, open to being attacked, and INnoVation will find a bunch of kills here. Easily going to find 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Very, very simple, just getting the first 5, and like I say, just not a single queen is what allows that to happen. Just a moment too long moving forward here, as he is continuing to lose Hellions to these Roaches. How worried are we about this Roach attack right now? Siege Tank is well on the way. As long as you hold the wall off long enough for the tank to get some damage done, and you can see the Roaches are turning around as well. They don't believe it's going to be a good time to jump on into the base, and the Banshees were coming back as well, just in case they were needed to. INnoVation has generally just done very good damage in the early stages so far. It's doing a very good job up until now. So yeah, good job on the Banshees as they move their way back around the right side. A 4th hatchery goes down on the upper right side as well, so that will come up. INnoVation just, again, rotating those Banshees to a different direction, just try and find another way in for them, another way to potentially try and deal some damage here. Gonna be his plan. He's down the right, we'll be able to just about sneak past these queens. And takes a few shots on the Banshee that was already low. Problem now is you're kind of being stuck in a corner, right? Is he just going to dive? He's going to go, but there's a transfusion. This doesn't work very well. Like I say, he was kind of stuck, because if he tried to go out, he would have gone past the same queens. He would have lost one Banshee, I think, anyway, once he decided to fly past the right side base. He gets into the main, he gets one more drone. Obviously, just not great to be losing the Banshees. You would like to have them alive. They are good map control, especially against a Roach army. They're just going to be constant damage output on the Roach Ravager, so generally that's very good. As we have a drop that's going to move toward the main base. There's already Lings in position here. It may not be upgraded, but if you can get on top of the Marines as they start to unload, it just buys that little bit of time. Then the Roaches start coming out. More Lings actually just melting, though. 1-1 upgrades, putting in work for INnoVation as he comes back in. Saves 8 of the Marines, and should probably be looking for some creep clear on the left side, but the Roach Ravager is there because Dark kind of predicted that, and that is a yeah, that's just a perfect bile. You could just sort of see it going. INnoVation gets a bile down. The full medevac of the 2 is the one that dies as well, so an extra 10 supply or so just chipped away at from this incoming army, but would have actually put INnoVation about even. As INnoVation, you know, usually against Roaches you don't want to be aggressive, and especially after losing a medevac of units, but this is actually one of those scenarios where I feel like it isn't in general a bad idea to move out, because it's not super aggressive Roaches. It's Roaches with a hell of a lot of tech behind it. Lurker Den, Hive, all both on, all already on the way. So I actually feel like this is one of those scenarios where you actually can contest the Roaches a little bit more. Maybe not so much since he lost out on a few units, but yeah, if this was just like that full commitment to like a 1-1 Roach attack, absolutely get the hell out of here. What you on the map for? But it's not. This is just not the case. And the triple medevac now going to force this Roach Ravager to turn around. Will threaten to unload in the main base, but turns back around again. And okay, just don't let them get corrosive biled INnoVation. No. Recognizing that he needs to make sure that doesn't happen twice in a row. That would have been what we call disastrous. That would have been really bad. Couple more biles. Medevac's just dodging away here. Just going to be seeing our Lings. He'll be kind of getting shredded a little bit. Again, that's just the power of the 1-1 Marines as wow. 1-1 Marines, huh? Dark left a few units over here, and INnoVation comes steamrolling forward. He's going to get rid of a lot of that Roach Ravager. And INnoVation is actually continuing to take some pretty good trades for himself at the moment. Finding Overlord in the upper right, splitting this army up to make it difficult for Dark to maneuver around. I tell you what, Inno's going to have 2-2 upgrades shortly. He's going to be able to do a lot with 2-2 against 1-1. And it's a long time until 2-2 kicks in for Dark. But there's Lurkers on the way, and this is where we're going to see INnoVation really get tested. Are those Lurkers something he can really fight against? Now, he's got a shit ton of tanks. It's plausible that actually with a crap ton of tanks, you can actually just fight against the first waves of Lurkers, because the tanks can just stop the Lurkers ever getting in position. So it is a possibility. It's not the most ideal of situations, but I don't hate it for just one big push right now. You're going to threaten this drop as well. Maybe that forces this army away. The main army's moving down the bottom left. Inno just needs to not walk headfirst into these Lurkers. He needs to scan ahead. I mean, that wasn't so bad, because honestly, this could have been a lot worse if the entire army walked up there with the lurkers on hold position. 2 siege tanks, 3 siege tanks going to get abducted in. We actually get 2 of them out the second. Oh, they just kind of die at the tail end of it. Corrosive File's going to get rid of the double tank here as well. Nope, just the one, but still the idea is there. As INnoVation just going to go diving towards the main base where there is a fleet of queens and spore crawlers, and that is going to shut down that idea too. At this point, INnoVation's kind of gone for that kind of drop off of this position too many times. Dark was so heavily prepared for it. And again, INnoVation does not have an answer to those lurkers. Running up, losing a few units straight away. A little bit painful as we're going to knock the spore down here and give ourselves an exit strategy with these few medevacs. Just trying to play around the map, trying to play around his opponents. Obviously, he could potentially get rid of some more creep spread. I tell you what, he's actually got the creep spread of Dark pretty heavily limited. When you look at Dark's map, it's not brilliant for 11 minutes, 20 seconds in the game. You know, you've seen a lot better creep spread at times. So INnoVation, the more creep he gets rid of, the more control he gets. If you can limit Dark down to these 4 or 5 bases, then maybe you can still be in something of a playable game here. You knock down a lurker with the upper right drop. Just about getting these tanks in position, but not having too many issues with the... Oh my god. INnoVation is a madman, question mark? I mean, honestly, it went pretty well if it wasn't for the fungal growths. It actually went really well if you take the fungal growths out of the equation. He would have actually had so much left over. Holy crap. That was a hell of a call, and actually, again, without the fungals, it might have been okay. Holy shit. I just gotta swear, because that was absolutely just... I thought he was just kind of giving up, in a way, and it was so much more successful than it ever feels like it should have been. Like I say, if you have that fungal, then... yeah, I mean, fungal's just good. That's in that situation where Terran goes stimming up the ramp straight into your army of lurkers. Holy crap. INnoVation just refusing to build Ghosts here. Maybe just doesn't feel like you can test Dark in a proper late game scenario like that. So instead sticks on this bio-tank force. A couple of tanks getting abducted forward. As a few Zerglings will be running through to their death. They're really not surviving very long, the Lings. It's again the lurkers that are surviving, and the tank count is really just not great anymore. 3 left alive. Obviously, you've got Vipers to help deal with them as well. And yeah, we're building 2 at a time, sure, but... Just feels as though to fight against this, you need so many tanks. As this is going to be INnoVation actually caught maybe out of position here, as he's not realized it for a few moments. Now he's going to stim. The lurker's actually out of reach, so this isn't so bad. Now the lurkers are going to unsiege. Yo, if I'm INnoVation, ooh, what do we do? Do we catch this army on the other side? INnoVation's actually just pushing through with this right side force. He is going to start working his way through those lurkers. INnoVation's supply is insane. And Dark doesn't have anything left right now. This army is going to get completely sandwiched as it tries to retreat through the Terran units. INnoVation is going to overwhelm in the bottom right. Oh my god, this almost, honestly for me, came out of nowhere. There's a fight on the right side or so. Maybe. This base goes down. Dark does not have enough left over. And INnoVation, Marine Marauder tank. That's all he needed to break through Roach Ravager lurk here of Dark eventually. Army on the left side was... I thought he was going to turn around and kind of jump on it, but actually he didn't even need to turn around. He was right to get rid of the lurkers before they got a defensive position over here. Yeah, that's crazy, man. What happened? I feel like I missed maybe a little bit of the fight up here or so. Just while I was watching on the other side. Like, what does this army do when this happened? This army... No, it just kind of ran straight through, so it actually didn't really do much. And it was moving over here to help, but then he realized it didn't need it. No. Dog just didn't have enough stuff. I guess I didn't really give enough credit. I really thought he had more on the right side, but he just didn't have anything on the right side, and I guess he just wasn't rebuilding as much as I thought he was going to be. His economy just wasn't there. Oh, that's actually kind of crazy. Alright, well, we get to game number 2, and in the bottom left side, down a game is going to be the Reds player Dark, who kind of felt like he got to where he wanted to be, and sure, some of his earlier attacks maybe didn't get to go across the map or anything, but he was on Lurkers and Vipers, and he was teched up. I feel like that's the sort of scenario you ask for when you're Dark going into a game like this. Top right corner is going to be the blue Terran player. It is INnoVation. Up 1. And, well. Tell you what, guys. If INnoVation wins this, he's not qualified. He still has to play a best of 5 qualifying match. But if INnoVation wins this, I think we can definitely be very excited. And as an INnoVation fanboy, he might have just earned my tournament organizer's individual invite to the tournament. You know? You know, do we need any other reason? I'm the organizer and I'll do what I want. I'll invite the man if I want to invite the man, you know? But seriously, I mean, yeah, played a great game. We'll see what he can do in game 2. And see if he can keep up. I mean, if he can beat Doc, you would imagine he's the favorite on this section of the bracket. So, I suppose we'll see what goes down. Again, there is one more qualifier for the Winter Championship tomorrow, and there'll be a handful of invites based on points, and like I say, a couple of invites that will come from me personally outside of points and stuff as well. So yeah, a week of qualifiers, because tomorrow will be the last Winter Championship qualifier, but then on the weekend, we have the WardiTV Korean Royale qualifier #1. We've been talking about that. If you guys didn't hear about it, !Korea, you can find out more. And the signups for that qualifier are looking absolutely bloody bonkers. We're going to have a hell of a day feasting our eyes upon that StarCraft. That's going to be fantastic. SCV, going to go have a little bit of a push up in towards the natural, pull in towards the main base. Factory coming up, a couple of CCs all on the way down. We do have our Reaper across the map, and actually picked up a kill, so sorry, we actually got a drone kill here from INnoVation. Able to grab that nice and early. Strong start as we come back over this side. We're just going to be hanging around, just going to have our orbital coming up, starport on the way in. And here, Marine nibbling at an Overlord over on the edge or so. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, it was an Overlord. I was like, where'd it go? It disappeared. It was right there all along. Starport's going through as well. Again, just high grounds, 3rd CC. Obviously, last game we did go double gas early and go for those Cloak Banshees. Again, this Reaper just being very proactive about scouting into the base. Again, it's that very delayed link speed from Dark as well. So, really quite a late link speed, and that's something that allowed INnoVation to get in with the first couple of Hellions last time and do some damage. So, perhaps eyes towards that once again. We're going to go for a Liberator this game. Tech Lab on the barracks. We'll see if INnoVation wants to continue playing Bio, or if it might, on a bigger map like this, mix in a bit of Mech. Because obviously Mech is the kind of thing you'd expect to see perhaps on altitude compared to some Bio, because it is just such a large map. It's very difficult to play just pure Bio on the map, so we'll see what happens as our couple of Hellions move back through the center. Stimpack coming up, the Hellions on the way, the Liberator on the way. All of that still being brought out right here as Lings, Queens, drones continuing through as well. All of our Hellions go over to the left-hand side, ready to make a dive by into this 3rd base where, well, a couple of Queens kind of block them initially, so Hellions will not get through just yet. And it is just going to be indeed the stim and the extra barracks, so setting up there. There's the Liberator, just going to come around into the natural dock immediately here with the Queens. No spores though, right? So it's going to be a little difficult to kind of keep on top of that Liberator if you're just going to have to move Queens from the natural to the main and back again. As the Hellions, checking to see if you have been doing your due diligence with link production, which we have been. Did that Liberator just die? Oh, it's still alive. Just in the corner, sees it up so it doesn't get caught in an F2 or anything. And that means it's just going to sit there and wait for an opportunity further down the line. I imagine we just build Spore. Something along those lines, right? Just minimize what this Lib can do. Just allow Dark to somewhat forget about it as... Yeah, INnoVation doesn't find much damage, keeping Dark moving, and Dark just playing straight toward Ling Bane. Baneling Nest is already on the way up, the lair is producing. So all of this being brought into play for the moment. As that stim is just a few seconds from finishing, we'll see if that allows INnoVation to go onto the map at all. I don't think so, he doesn't have many Marines just yet, he doesn't have Medevac, still building the reactor on the starport. So it seems like it's going to be a little while until we actually get a chance to go into that kind of Marine-based army. So our Hellions come around over to the south. Moving over to the west, Queen gets a couple shots off, Hellions taking some damage. gonna go for a little bit of a dive through as we see a couple of drones already dropping. These Hellions are just gonna full commit. You get 6, 7 drones. Almost the issue here is gonna be, well, you're going up your Hellions, so map control kind of disappears in a big way. Maybe not an immediate issue. Tell you what, I kind of like INnoVation's potential timing here, though. What if INnoVation just pushes? 1-1 finishing, combat chill's being done. He's going to completely dodge the counterattack, but I felt this was so inevitable as well. Maybe he's not going to die because he's going to pull back and deal with it, but obviously you can't keep pushing while this counterattack is a threat. So, it kind of negates the whole push, but it's something that Dark has to do because I don't think Dark is in a good position at all right now. Supply blocked off that Overlord kill as well. I think if INnoVation got across the map and created a fight, Dark would have a very bad time, and that's why it was actually very, almost kind of, just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Procedural, that Dark was already counterattacking, because he just knew that he was in some trouble if a big fight happened, and he knew a counterattack was his way to then potentially buy a little bit of time instead. INnoVation starting out with these drops, which he was pretty successful with in that previous game as well, was good at being active, and, you know, one of the things was he really kept the creep spread back last time. So yeah, you know what, if this was a smaller map, if this was like a Babylon or so and we were in this position, I think I'd be like all aboard the INnoVation hype train. But the size of this map is going to make it very difficult for INnoVation to get those pushes going and to reinforce these pushes as well. I think that's going to be his big issue across the course of this game number 2. The map really just isn't great for Terran, and I really do wonder what INnoVation thought he would veto instead of altitude, because to me, an altitude kind of getting through in a best of 3 is a massive question mark, so yeah, very, very interesting. This group of Marines will find Building Bane in the center. INnoVation lifts up, gets away. I was a little worried because one of the things we definitely saw the other day was INnoVation not keeping track of his drops too much and kind of letting them just walk into units and just being a little slow to kind of go and react and to respond. In this case, he obviously managed to do that pretty swiftly as we move down the bottom right side, and just going to be having the few Banelings moving up with the Zerglings as well. Bane's going to come through now, though. There's a Widowmine here. You know, if we lifted these Marines and the Lings had kind of clumped up onto where the Widowmine was, or where the Marines had been, the Widowmine would have done a lot, but instead we lose all the Marines, and now Dark is attacking on the other side. Yeah, just INnoVation taking a series of bad trades. Now he's going to start losing the tanks as well. His position's just getting broken down by just pure Ling Bane, and at a point where Dark is just tacking up to 2-2, his Hive is just finished up as well, right? So not really a point where you're meant to kind of die as INnoVation, and I suppose he ain't dead yet, but it's definitely not going in the right direction as Lings are going to flood this base. You're having to, well, lift up units to try and save them. You have these Lings kind of trapped here, which is maybe nice until they turn around and say, I can fight you, no problem. GG's for INnoVation. Dark just going to overwhelm him here, and is going to force this into a game 3. So we're going to go the distance between Dark and Inno. Thrax, thank you so much for the 28-month resub. Great job with the Korean Royale. The round 2 is already funded. Yay. Yes, not just that, not just already funded, already guaranteed to match the Season 1 $10,000 prize pool, which is incredible. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily stop supporting as well. And, you know, obviously, if you already support, then thank you, but we are pushing for more. You know, we want to make this as big as we can. Next step, try and get a Season 3. First of all, like, next little bit of funding will probably go towards a bit more of, like, just making sure, you know, we've got the prize pools covered and, you know, maybe open them a little bit. But if we get a serious amount more crowdfunding in the next month and a half when we're actually running the first edition of the tournament, etc., we will be able to guarantee a Season 3 as well. That would be... That's kind of becoming the main goal, I guess, because you guys have been so incredible over the first couple of days. So, yeah. Kind of ridiculous that that's on the table, honestly. Yeah, thank you so much, Ananthrax, for the tier 3 resub. I appreciate it, mate. Going above and beyond. Hatch gas and spawning pool as a barracks comes in as well. Get that set up. It's going to be seeing a Reaper starting up already on this main base. So Reaper going to be going across the map. INnoVation has obviously been showing us just bio so far. Kind of expecting more bio from him. Would be kind of surprised to see him choose to switch it up at this point in time. Does Blizzard make me pay them to host tournaments? So, The way it works is that up to $10,000 prize money, you can actually just run a tournament off of a community license. So the community license is basically just don't take certain sponsors, like gambling sponsors or alcohol sponsors, etc. And as long as you do that and you don't kind of, run the tournament and say, F Blizzard, screw them, etc., then you're kind of fine to run it off of a community license, right? There is also, it also says you're meant to have a proper license if you run more than 50k of events in a year, but no one's really ever cared about that. In the same way that when we ran the Cast of Civil War, no one really cared about that either, right? So I think nowadays no one really minds, but I tend to just keep the events at about 10k-ish, because then it is kind of just officially kind of still in the rules. I don't think anyone at Blizzard knows whose job it would be to actually tell me off if they wanted to, though, So, yeah. But for the majority of the time, if you want to run your own tournament, you're very welcome to, as long as you're not calling it the Screw Blizzard Cup or something, which I feel some people might try to do. So don't do that. How much does it cost if you want to say F Blizzard, screw them? I don't think you can, because I feel like you get, they will just shut you down. They'll just say no. Or they will start to take action, They're not going to be like, oh yeah, pay us this amount of money and you can say that. They're just going to not let you run your tournament, Starward's going to swap over to the tech lab here. We're going to go back to, I think, a Banshee. Maybe Viking first and faking Cloak, or maybe even commits to Cloak and goes Banshee after a Viking, but Viking, Banshee. Okay, I mean, it is going to be a roach run from Dark, so don't hate it at the moment. Reaper and a couple of Hellions make their way over to the other side. Just going to see that roach run is about to finish up, and Dark has a lot of gas to spend on roaches if he does so wish. 200 gas ready to go. As the Queen gets there, pushes the Reaper back just a little bit. It's going to be seen how Banshee will indeed follow up this initial Viking. So it is going to be that Banshee is. Obviously, the Cloak suggests that. Dark comes in, sees no third CC, and I think that's all he really wants to see, but what he doesn't see is the, well, I mean, does he? Because the third CC could be over here. I wonder if because of the Viking, he kind of assumes a third CC, and he doesn't think about the fact this could be Cloak, or he just wanted to try and save this Overlord from the Viking. Now that's not going to happen. Can he actually get some information here? The first gas was taken on the far side, so actually, if he sees this gas and clicked on it, he maybe could have seen a gas count. If he wasn't 100% sure by now, I think he has had the opportunity to scout, as I believe INnoVation has seen what's coming his way. I think he knows the roaches are coming across the map right now, so he's going to send this Banshee out to meet them, and Hellions will get some initial lining up shots on from the high ground very nicely, and the roaches are on the run. They will turn to fight here. They get rid of one Hellion, but this is obviously going to cost some of the roaches their lives. One roach splits away to the right side to try and stay safe. Yeah, this Banshee's going to clean up a bunch of them, and it's a great initial defense from INnoVation, which isn't even really a defense because it's just straight up, a putting off of this army. There was no defending about it. He just turned it around before defense was even a thing, which is obviously a defense in a way. I'm just trying to be clever. But, yeah, shuts this down, and to be fair, Dark's been doing this for years. I don't think INnoVation is going to come into this and be like, whoa, Dark, you keep on building roaches, aren't I? Look, you're building Banshees. Pretty sure that's just INnoVation making some good decisions based on what he expects Dark to be opening up with. Now we've got Hellions. This Roach is in position to defend this run by spot, though, as the Viking continues to move around. And remember that this Banshee, it does have Cloak, and there is a second one coming as well, so something you definitely watch out for. If these Roaches chase the Hellions, they're not going to have a good time. Hey, if these Hellions get past the Roaches, this mineral line is pretty exposed. And just too many Roaches still left over for the moment, though. Banshees hop up into the main base. And just going to be surrounded by Queens. The lair's already done. Roach speed starting. A ton of drones on the way from Dark. There's the kind of moment where like a larger push could potentially do very well for Inno, but yeah, it depends what Dark does. Like if he just masses Roaches from here, I don't like Inno getting aggressive, but if he starts to tech similar to that first game into the Lurker Den and everything else, then I definitely wouldn't mind seeing INnoVation taking a step onto the map. As those drones not protected. Roaches don't have speed. Takes them a while to get over here. Banshees have to pull away, and they do manage to do so. A few of these Hellions getting chased to the bitter end, but they also manage to escape away without too many troubles. Well, the Hellions pull back to the top side. So I'm going to retreat away for the moment. And here comes this little bit of a bigger push. Hydrogen is on the way down. No 1-1 missile upgrades, no link speed yet. Actually kind of like this initially here for INnoVation, I feel like. He's going to have 1-1 combat shields for this attack on his own side, so kind of lines up pretty nicely at the moment. What can he do? Again, it is one of these larger maps, so it takes a little while to get into position at first as well. He's going to get the tanks here. The tanks are in a good position to support this location of kind of dropping, right? And that's exactly what we're going to start going for. Just come up over here. We've got Lings that are slow. These Roaches are going to have to run into tank fire. Obviously, the Ravagers, though, are going to be able to go for the siege tanks. Can we get rid of them? No! We lose the Medivacs as well! Oh, what a disaster. The Corrosive Biles get both Medivacs and the tanks. Obviously, he was trying to unload so you could lift the tanks up and evacuate them, but losing the Medivacs too. The Corrosive Biles in this series from Dark have been insane, and man, you know, honestly, this position was great for Inno as long as he could stand and fight, and the only thing threatening was really the 3 Ravagers. I wonder if he just had tank split. He could have probably stayed and fought as well, but having them stacked up meant the 3 Ravagers was all Dark needed to get rid of both of them, and obviously struck gold with the Medivacs trying to create magic overhead as well. That is painful. That slows INnoVation down massively. Everything gets reset here, and obviously it gives Dark the green light to go ahead with all of his future tech. Hydras, Hive, Lurk Den, all on the way, and he's just not going to be stopped while going there. I mean, a couple of drops will move onto the map, but we're even lacking Medivacs to truly drop around effectively. Medivacs will come back down to the south. And the Marines will load back up into the Medivacs again. The Banshees showing up, well, yeah, it's over in the center. Roach Ravager taking some shots. Marines will unload here and just run into this hatch. Gonna get a couple of creep tumors perhaps, and you see how Zergling's gonna run in for the surround. We actually kill off this hatchery, so we deny a 5th base. I mean, that's a big step in the right direction, of course. These Banshees are still just trying to work their way around and try and find some openings. There's a couple of HP units maybe they could get on top of and do some damage against. Could be kind of cool, but it's going to sell for some more drones. And these Queens just struggling to get in position. Evo Chambers actually warned the Queens from getting in reach as easily as they might like to. So yeah, Banshees just being annoying, trying to find a corner to sit in, and looks like we're going to dive through the main base. There's Vipers here, so they could just drop a parasitic bomb or two. Guarantee that those are dead and just get the consumers back up and get this going again. Doesn't want to do it unless he has to. These Banshees are going to die. The drop on the top left denied quickly too. And there's one on the bottom right. Is INnoVation going to keep on dropping? As we've seen earlier, just as one of the things he was very good at in that first game that allowed him to find a victory. As he just has to lift up here though. Too many units showing up at once. Dark going to match him with the upgrades. And does Dark really let a game slip again where he's on Lurkers, playing against just Bio Tank? I really don't think so. I feel like this is going to be very tough for INnoVation to kind of make happen a second time. But again, he did do it once, right? He did it once when I didn't believe, so I guess I shall believe for the moment that he has the potential. The Fungal and some Lurkers over here will combine to deny this drop from moving further forward. Bottom right, Fetch run into the Roach Ravager force. The tanks are sieged. Hey, that army's stuck, guys. Roach is going to start taking a fight. We don't have the tank support there. I mean, you should just move the tanks up, no? Oh my god, Dog's got a Nidus that's going to evacuate these units as if. That's actually incredible. Tank's still there, though. He's actually moved his army down the ramp. He's taking tank shots. INnoVation, why did we let this army go? Yeah, am I crazy? Like, if the tanks could have unsieged move forward, I think he was so afraid of getting flanked that Dark just wasn't truly trapped. I think Dark got off with a lot right there. I mean, he was actually genuinely trapped, and I don't think INnoVation realized that he was truly trapped. I think INnoVation thought it was like a trap he was walking into. So he kind of stuttered and kind of missed his opportunity. A single Lurker here is getting kills, which obviously should be manageable if we just have the scan. Clean that up, don't let it do too much as INnoVation readying up a 5th base. 5th base of Dark has not been able to come online so far, as again, a lot of this will be about siege tanks. We don't really have any Marauders in this army, so we don't have any real kind of tankiness to it. I feel like that is going to mean that this fight is going to be a little bit brutal. A couple more tanks siege from far away. At least now the Viper's out of energy, so you've got a little bit of time to work with here as Inno, but yeah, I think this time the 5th base gets online. I don't think we stop it, as INnoVation doesn't really have a way to push further forward than where he currently sits. He's going to drop the Ghost Academy. I think he's recognizing too many spellcasters, too many lurkers. He needs those ghosts to help him out. Another army around the top left, though. And there's nothing over here, by the way. So if he stays aggressive on this right side and keeps you kind of busy, gives you a chance to get in over on this left side. We kill one lurker that was in position on the way in. There's going to be the Infestors moving in position and doesn't see it coming. So he just can't split away in time. Now he tried to split away from the second fungal. This group of units was actually looking to be very scary, but Dark moves across perfectly in time to get there, deny it, and stop it truly from being scary again. And it's just a lurker defense over here. We're going to have to scan. These Marines are going to be low. They just about live. At least some of them. Obviously some go down. As INno stays maxed out, still just a lot of biotank, and moving into further ghost reduction as well. Like I say, he's got that Ghost Academy up now, so it is an option on the map for him as he's just walked into these lurkers. Has to scan. He's going to kill off a bunch of them. Is he actually going to go up the ramp against the rest? Apparently he wanted to. And lurk over here as well, man. There's just lurkers everywhere. He needs a Raven. Not very often I'll seriously suggest that, but it actually is maybe one of those cases where like a couple of Ravens, one with each army, might actually help, because he just keeps... Even just having to spend the scans all the time can become painful, although we are on our way to a whole bunch of extra CCs and orbitals. Yeah, just these random lurkers picking away at reinforcements, getting some HP bars lowered already. INnoVation dove on the lurkers over here, though, finding himself what he felt like was an opportunity to take a bit of a fight. The lurkers coming on the left side, flanking the flank of INnoVation. And INnoVation has to back it up a little bit, and this time I feel like INnoVation really comes out a little bit south on the supplies. Beforehand, it was always kind of staying even-ish. This time, Inno really feels like he lost out, and you can see the drop-off in supply there really hurting him. More army here from Inno. It's moving down the right side. We do have a hatcher on the far left getting set up. This is the thing, at one point in this game, Dark couldn't get a 5th base online. At this point, Dark is absolutely beyond needing a 5th base. He's in a much more comfortable position. And I feel like that economy access for Dark is going to be a big part in why INnoVation will struggle kind of moving on from here. Still just kind of playing without the ghosts, which is, I think at this point, just a sign of lacking confidence to be able to kind of deal with that sort of style or play that sort of style, which don't blame him if you're kind of fresh back to the game in the last few weeks. You know, getting you back onto kind of high-level ghost play against lurkers is extremely difficult because there's just so much micro involved there in positioning and engaging. Not that, you know, fighting lurkers with this army is necessarily much easier, but to understand INnoVation's possible reluctances, you have to deal with a lurker over on the right side. Scan will reveal this and we will kill it off. Again, the single lurker harassments from Dark have been great. They really have thrown INnoVation off. Reinforcements have not gotten there healthy. They've not gotten across the map safely. They've not gotten across the map sometimes at all because of it, as these lurkers do gift themselves in. So INnoVation will be happy with that. A couple lurkers on this high ground. Do we have a scan? A scan? A scan? He set up the siege tanks, man. Like, he let them siege, which is kind of wild. Again, just this lurker flying across this gap as well. There's a couple of Vipers right there, too. Oh, some units run down that ramp. Man, there's just lurkers absolutely everywhere. They're playing Minesweeper, but the mines are lurkers, and yeah, you just got to figure out where they're at and try and avoid them to the best of your ability. INnoVation. What's the resources lost? Like 17.8 to 16.8k, so Dark is trading better than INnoVation as well, which is a terrifying prospect. Although INnoVation's mining more. He's mining with 80 workers to 70, so actually in that regard he might be okay. Does he not have a scan? He has a bunch of orbitals, but he's scanning so frequently that he just doesn't actually have a way. He has 5 orbitals and not a single one has a scan because he has to scan so often here. Tank's going to siege. This actually could be a bigger fight. Scan. Yeah, he does have it. So now the lurk's going to be forced to unsiege and pull back. They're actually still in tank range for a moment, though, so we had to reposition yet again. Going back across the other way. And a game of positioning now. I'll tell you what, INnoVation might be able to get another base up because, well, Dark's pressure is mainly just like, oh, some lurkers, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's able to kind of fully kill it. There's a couple of ghosts have made their way onto the battlefield. We'll see just what INnoVation's usage of these ghosts look like. And he feels like he's getting a little bit cornered in by units right now. Lurkers going to get in range of that siege tank. That will not be enough firepower to keep those lurkers back. You know, more ghosts coming online, but at this stage we usually expect to have like tons of ghosts, right? We're really on a very limited number in comparison. Lurker's going to try and flank in from the other side. INnoVation should just lift, I suppose, probably the best way out. Again, a lot of supply going down here. This is just a few trades in a row where it wasn't quite just like straight up and powerful like he really wanted it to be. Dark's now going to split up the lurkers to hit a few different bases, although has to try and get them out of range of the actual planetary. INnoVation walks down a ramp. He's like, oh my god, there's freaking lurkers everywhere! And he's going to stim up and kill off a couple. He's got snipes available too, as he will kill off this one on the top, I was going to say. Didn't even really necessarily need a snipe then. He didn't snipe. You're trying to keep up with Dark in a game of lurkers everywhere and all the rest of it. Dark is one of the best at causing like very chaotic situations like this. I love this. I mean, 2 tanks may be a bit excessive, but just a tank and, you know, a planetary with a turret can be a good part of a defense. Some snipes there going off and, again, delivering a bit of a punch in the face to a lurker. Sitting behind this mineral line, working our way through the planetary fortress. More SCVs are continuing to be picked away at. We're back up over here this time. Do we need snipes? Nope. Yes. We need a scan. INnoVation's again trying to push. How many ghosts are we seeing going down without even getting a snipe off, I feel like is the question. I feel like we've seen so many being unable to really take advantage. That was an unburrow from Dark that was actually misplaced. As those couple of lurkers do go down. There's one lurker top left still active, by the way. INnoVation now sees it without scanning as he builds a turret here. And I guess he'll have a couple of units very shortly as... Man, just traversing the map is difficult because every time you walk anywhere, there's the threat of the lurkers. I mean, he's using so many scans. He's actually going to spot this Nidus. He actually sees on the sensor tower. He doesn't actually maybe realize it necessarily with everything else as he sees maybe a chance to jump on an army. That's a lot of lings. I think this is a lift and leave. Where's the rest of the army going? Up the left-hand side. INnoVation might have to defend the right side with just what he's got. The army on the left is running into lurkers, though, so what's it actually going to be able to do? He's trying to figure out what he can do. You can see Dark realizes an opportunity that INnoVation has so much on the map, but now INnoVation's pulling back to perhaps come around the other side of this. Lings run in. They shouldn't be able to do too well. We back it up a little bit. We're not in a major rush. You have to run through a choke point, though, as INnoVation on the left side. That ain't going to be pretty. Tanks are flanking. The lurkers are starting to go down as INnoVation wraps this army of Dark up and sends it off as a present, as that's going to be killed. These overseers just sieged up overhead are going to go down. That's expenses that Dark has to replace, and Dark supply dropped heavily there. He's just lost this fight massively, and these tanks still not sieging, just taking things down. Lurkers on higher numbers in the top left corner, starting to work their way through INnoVation's bases, but now INnoVation has a chance to get through some of Dark's bases. Dark still has 12 lurkers on the map, but boy, they are just strewn across everywhere. 4 in the top left, a few in the bottom right. We've got this planetary getting some shots off. We try and push up this ramp. We need a scan. Well, he's already got the scan. He's got the snipes, and he is going to get rid of the lurkers. This position is being broken down. Dark has had the money to rebuild, but his bank is now less than INnoVation's here. 26 dead SCVs. The units are going to have to pull back a little bit here. There's a lot of lings, and I think this might actually be one of those scenarios where we just have to lift up and go. The parasitic bomb comes down onto the medevacs. Utter chaos in this fight. There's so many units just going down at the very tail end. The medevac survives. There's a lot of medevacs just dropped there. The parasitic bomb was huge for Dark, just getting some extra damage on those medevacs and helping to clean those out. Definitely going a long way. Inno now in the top left, and this is, I think, one of the issues that Dark now has, is that INnoVation has the kind of momentum to kind of go back and forth a little more. He's going to pull back here and hopefully clear out these few lurkers, as he just needs to drop a snipe on this one over there. This one actually gets out of scan range again. The annoyance that Dark has had all game long persists, as this space will be evacuated. INnoVation, the one losing SCVs. Both players kind of, you know, drawn out of economy, coming down to potentially these final armies. I mean, Dark still has bases mining. So does INnoVation, to be fair. They both still have mining bases. They don't have a lot of money in the bank, so if one player was to lose a lot all of a sudden, you're going to have a bad time trying to recover from that. Even just cancelling up a lurker can be seen as a pretty big win at this point in time. Force goes back across over to the right. 22 minutes here so far. Snipes down a lurker. Another one right there, just morphing in. INnoVation sees it, but maybe just too much going on for him to truly notice. Lurker count is getting ridiculous, by the way. We're about to be on 28 lurkers. This is where the ghosts really need to step up, because there's going to be too many lurkers to just do these kind of dive-in fights that we've been seeing up until now. Ghosts come across, get rid of a little bit more creep spread over here. This is from, I think, the remnants of a Nidus network even. Just a little creep tumor that got to go down. Game really takes a few moments to stabilize, and that almost worries me a bit for Dark, who I mean, don't get me wrong, I think INnoVation will be happy for the kind of game calming down in a big way, but in a way I feel like Dark's got to be happy to kind of just settle down and say, okay, I'm going to get a lot of lurkers, and, you know, these scrappy fights, INnoVation's been able to hold on, and he's starting to turn it against me, so what can I do a bit differently here? INnoVation is at this point as well where some of these bases are going to become extremely important to hold on to, because they're going to be kind of his last lifelines without really stretching further onto the map. So they're definitely going to be somewhat concerns here as well. Pressing forward, clearing out some creep spread. Honestly, just anything you can do to slow down the presence of Dark. I mean, this is creep spread that's right up on top of one of your bases, INnoVation. I mean, the chance to actually just scan 4 creep spread is something INnoVation's not had in a long time either, because he's been so relentless having to scan after lurkers that are just dotted around the map everywhere. Obviously, I do like for INnoVation the fact that he's got a bunch of ghosts. That part can go well. It's just about controlling this fight, and again, if you ask me, who do I prefer trying to control a fight in these scenarios? It absolutely is Dark, who dives in the top left, takes a lot of damage going in because of the tank count. But obviously, it's a good dive because INnoVation's just outnumbered in a major way. He has to pull back over here. It's just going to take him a little while to do it. 22 SCVs going down. Now he's going to lose further SCVs, and this is economy which INnoVation just might not be able to afford losing. He's got to find a way to get some more cleanups. He needs some more damage out of this. He needs a good trade. Down 37 workers as Dark just swings up to the top left-hand side, jumps where INnoVation is not ready. And INnoVation's going to start moving forward. Looks as though he's going to try and fight this. The Lings on the bottom left kind of look scary on their own right. The Banelings don't go very far, though. Blinding Clouds on those siege tanks are massive. We split away the Parasitic Bomb Lurkers. The Blinding Clouds really are dictating this. And the Lurkers getting in range to finish up a bunch of siege tanks. Now we are just about holding on the top side, perhaps, with a couple of tanks finally going down. Looks as though we are making progress here as Dark is punching his way through. And Dark has money behind this as well, but INnoVation does not. INnoVation is going to run across the map and counter, but there's still 16 lurkers in play. I find it very difficult to believe we're going to go through 16 lurkers that are set up somewhat defensively. That seems like almost impossibility, right? As we do scan again, these few lurkers trying to get in position are going down. Here comes more lurkers from the upper left, though. It honestly is very close still. If we can just find a way to effectively fight these lurkers, but there's just so many providing so much splash damage, it's unrealistic to keep on trading. If INnoVation had any amount of mining behind this, the rebuild, the reinforcements might be enough, but he's obviously got absolutely nothing here in this 25-minute epic against Dark. He's out of steam, and Dark is going to take it down. INnoVation fought until the very bitter end. GG's Dark is going to take it 2-1 over INnoVation in a killer matchup.